Hello and Assalamu alaikum. I'm Marwa Mohkam Sheikh. Welcome to Narramus. When the US dropped 15-ton bunker-busting bombs on Iran's underground nuclear sites last month, it was not just Tehran that was rattled. The Pyongyang was also on alert. According to US intelligence and military analysts, this strike was watched carefully by another regime, North Korea. Why? Because some US analysts believe that some Iranian nuclear facilities were developed with assistance from North Korea. They were overly optimistic in assuming that North Korea clearly received the message when the US demonstrated its ability to destroy fortified bunkers from the air. Not surprisingly, North Korea condemned the attack on Iranian nuclear facilities. In a sharply worded statement, Pyongyang blasted the US for violating the UN Charter and accused Washington of breaching the sovereignty of a state. During the 12-day war between Iran and Israel, President Trump also explicitly referenced Iran's supreme leader. His statement, "The US knows where you are," was interpreted by many as a threat of assassination. For Kim Jong-un, whose nuclear facilities are situated near Pyongyang, such rhetoric strikes are uncomfortably close to home, both figuratively and literally. Now here's the important stuff to note. North Korea is not Iran. Tehran does not have nukes, Pyongyang does, and that changes the rules of engagement completely. A strike on North Korea would have global consequences far more severe than what we saw in the Middle East. Still, that does not mean Kim isn't recalibrating his approach. North Korea is probably reviewing every frame of the Israel-Iran conflict and drawing key lessons. First, air defense. Iran's air defense systems were overwhelmed, something Pyongyang is keenly aware of, given the aging state of its own systems. North Korean upgrades of air defenses are likely on the horizon. Second, offensive readiness. Analysts believe Kim will push for more advanced missile systems and diversified strike options. And following the Iran strikes, it's almost certain that Kim will re-evaluate his nuclear infrastructure. Yongbyon, North Korea's central nuclear complex, is under intense international scrutiny. It contains both plutonium and uranium enrichment facilities, and reports suggest a second uranium site may be under construction nearby. Then there's Kangsun, an undeclared facility that could be another potential target vulnerable to military strikes. As for diplomacy, don't expect much. North Korea is likely holding off any serious negotiations at least until after the 9th Party Congress in January 2026. For now, the focus is internal, rebuilding the economy and wrapping up its 5-year defense plan. Meanwhile, North Korea is drawing closer to Moscow. Last year, the two countries signed a landmark defense pact, including a mutual defense clause. That means North Korean troops could, theoretically, fight alongside Russians in Ukraine. Kim even pledged unconditional support for Putin's war effort. For a country that once leaned almost entirely on China, that is a major geopolitical pivot. But here's the catch. Any future serious assessment of attacking North Korea's nuclear facilities must take into account the full scope of its military capabilities. Central to this is the Hwasong-18 intercontinental ballistic missile, believed to be capable of reaching the US mainland. Beyond its nuclear arsenal, North Korea also maintains a large and forward-deployed conventional force, capable of inflicting significant damage on South Korea in the event of conflict. With Seoul located just 35 miles from the demilitarized zone, the immediacy of this threat is a key difference between the Korean peninsula and the dynamics observed during Israel's recent war with Iran. In a future scenario, North Korea's response to any US strikes on Pyongyang would likely be shaped by a combination of alarm, strategic calculation, and adaptive planning. But beyond Pyongyang's immediate reaction lies a broader and more dangerous strategic shift. The pattern of targeted attacks on nuclear infrastructure not only erodes the integrity of the global non-proliferation regime, but also does little to reduce the long-term risk of military escalation. On the contrary, it may legitimize such strikes as a tool of deterrence or coercion, effectively normalizing actions that were once seen as exceptional. This emerging precedent could lower the threshold for future conflicts, especially when nuclear-armed states are involved. And that is a gamble humanity cannot afford. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. As always, be sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Allah Hafiz.